Hey everyone, welcome to Side 9, a channel dedicated to the Gundam Card Game. I'm Reala.
And I'm Fulminatus.
On April 12th, the official Gundam Card Game Twitter account revealed the game's fifth color, purple, and introduced it through debuting Mobile Suit Gundam, Iron-Blooded Orphans, to the game.
Out of all our reveals so far, the colors in the game are blue, white, green, red, and now purple. This video will largely be speculation about what this new purple color will do. For starters, let's talk about the currently revealed colors and what they've been revealed to do in gameplay so far. Blue has card draw, rest and repair. Green specializes in AP gain, token on deploy and destroy, breach, and ramp.
White focuses on blocker, command synergy, bounce, and cantrip. From what has been revealed, red seems to be developing an identity around ping damage and introduces the keyword support. This ties back to a well-known TCG concept called color theory. The main point being is that there will be some things that colors can do that other colors can't do as well, if at all.
With this breakdown as an example, I'm sure you can see why us over here at Side 9 are excited about the prospect of a new color and speculating what it could possibly do during gameplay.
But before going into it further, it would help us out greatly if you gave this video a like and subscribed.
And once you're done, give us a comment down below if you think our predictions are correct, or if you have a better idea that would fit well in purple. We good?
We're good. As someone who's lost plenty of games with purple and other Bandai card games, I feel uniquely qualified to go over. So far, purple has appeared in two other Bandai card games, Digimon and One Piece. In Digimon, purple is a discard-based strategy that grants players bonus effects and opportunities with your fellow Digi-friends. An incredibly good purple card in Digimon is Eismon's Scatter Mode. When Scatter Mode dies, you get to draw 3 and discard 2. This is a very potent cantrip effect in its own right. Being able to dig that deep on its own is nothing to sneeze at. However, when you compare it to the in-archetype support piece, simply called Eismon, we can see this interaction truly become bonkers. Eismon's effect activates when discarded from hand. Then, if Scatter Mode is in your trash, you may play it without paying its cost. If that wasn't already enough, the figurative cherry on top is that for each Scatter Mode in your discard, this card gets plus 2000 DP. I honestly think if I dissected why this interaction is so good, I would be insulting your card game intelligence, so let's not do that and just move on. For this next example, I want to highlight the combo potential of the design space in purple in Digimon. Lilithmon from the first set, released Special Booster 1.0, A+ booster name by the way. She is a level 6 Digimon that allows you to return 2 purple option cards, think spells, from your discard back to your hand. Then, once per turn, when you use an option, you gain 2 memory, which is the game's resource. If you thought 2 memory was all this card was going to get you, think again. If you combine this effect with the card Jack Raid, an option that allows you to gain memory for every 10 cards in your discard, I'm sure you can see where this is going. Alright, let's go over a purple card from Bandai's most popular card game to date, One Piece. In the first purple starter deck for the game, Animal Kingdom Pirates, the box art featured Ido. He is a 9-cost, 10,000 power character with an on-play ability to don -5 to kill a character on the opponent's side of the field with 6 cost or less, and it gets Rush, which means it can attack the turn it's played. Don is the resource in One Piece, and you only get 2 a turn. So if you lose 5, that is losing 2.5 turns worth of progress. That's pretty steep. In effect, you are getting a massive tempo swing with the removal and rushing character. However, you are massively denying yourself on long-term resources if you choose to go all out and activate the Don -5 ability. In this instance, you are trading long-term value for immediate tempo, and I think this gameplay style makes purple One Piece card game's most interesting color. Up next, my buddy Fulminatus will discuss how Bandai might incorporate the plot of Iron-Blooded Orphans into the mechanics.
Hey guys, Raccoon in the dumpster behind Reala's apartment, and I'm here to explain. One thing that Bandai has currently done a great job of, at least in the beta set, is translating the themes and feats of various suits and series into hard game mechanics. It's repeatedly demonstrated throughout Wing that Wing Gundam Buster Rifle is a battleship class weapon, easily blowing away entire fortified structures. Thus, in the card game, it's currently the strongest baseline breach card, able to target cards that normally would be unattackable, meaning they aren't safe from its overwhelming firepower. Another example, for the entire first arc of Gundam Seed, the Strike Gundam is almost entirely used in focus to defend the Archangel, and the Archangel itself is a support platform for the Strike. We reflect this in mechanics by the Ale Strike, Launcher Strike, and the various strike tokens all being blockers, while Naval Bombardment buffs blockers, and the Archangel itself extends the use you get out of your blocking units. What does this mean for Purple, I hear you? The debut series for Gundam Card Game for Purple is gonna be Iron-Blooded Orphans, and that almost surely means that the debut is going to be the flagship suit, the Gundam Barbados. Not to overly summarize this series, and surely the franchise at large, but one of the key world-building differences of IBO versus the Gundam franchise at large is that it all but does away with the iconic energy rifles and swords of the greater franchise in favor of a more grounded and conventional arsenal. This is expressed in large swords, clubs, and chainsaws for melee weapons, with ballistic cannons and artillery for ranged. This results in much more intimate and visceral combat, even by Gundam standards, a series built on the idea of giant robots having borderline fistfights. Just to hammer the point home, the Barbados has an iconic sound of its giant mace smashing into things. For the first half of the series, IBO heavily emphasizes the themes of surviving through adversity. Our main troupe of characters are referred to as space rats and are constantly thrust into situations where they are the underdogs on all fronts. Children in an adult world, a small band of mercenaries against a full military force, being pawns in greater plans, you get the idea. However, they consistently rely on wit and grit to make it through these situations, essentially taking the comparison to vermin as a point of pride. Rats survive. To build on the previous point, this constant underdoghood, is that a word? This constant underdoghood then emphasizes the point of building a home and the meaning of family. Our protagonists are orphan child soldiers with nowhere to go and the world against them. If they want a home, they have to build it with their own hands, and the only family they have is each other. The final strong overarching theme throughout IBO is the concept of attaining power or strength and the consequences of both being powerful and the method used to become so. The back half of the series is preoccupied with the consequences our characters face directly due to the actions they've taken to hold the little power they do have. The ostensible main character, Mikazuki, originally has a dream of becoming a farmer, but throughout the series he quite literally sacrifices enough of himself in order to push the Barbados past its limits to the point that he can no longer walk without being connected to the suit. His original dream sacrificed for power. Now, I can hear your thoughts. That's a cool summary, Raccoon Boy, but you started this by talking about how themes translate to mechanics, and you're just yapping about anime. I'm gonna let Reala back in the room, and we're gonna show you how, at least how we think, the purple of Bandai's past and the themes of Iron-Blooded Orphans will dovetail into actual cardboard.
Thank you for the incredible My Anime List rewrite synopsis of Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. I learned a lot! Learning about the series has brought back one of my favorite design topics when it comes to card games: top-down versus bottom-up design. Don't worry, we're not going to start talking about who is top-down or bottom-up in Amuro and Char's relationship.
It's Charmaro.
We're more so talking about the lens designers take when thinking about a particular flavor to implement into the cards.
I prefer a top-down design where cards don't exist in a vacuum. There's a storied and rich history of the Gundam franchise that I love very dearly. In top-down design, the designers start with a thematic inspiration or concept and translate that concept into the game. In games based on existing IPs, the inspiration comes pretty easily, as the theme or idea you're incorporating is the franchise itself. In this case, IBO is the flagship series to, obviously, draw inspiration from.
The opposite of top-down design is bottom-up design. This is when the designers have a particular gap to fill or design idea to be included. A very simple example would be that card draw needs to show up in some shape or form. This is a common reason why card games allow you to draw at the start of every turn, because what else is there to do when you've used up all your cards? That's not to say that bottom-up design has no room for flavor whatsoever. Take a look at a Show of Resolve. The text on this card fills a very simple bottom-up mechanic, a card that allows you to convert one card from your hand into two, a +1 in card advantage. However, the card depicts how in Gundam Unicorn, Audrey/Minerva bridges the gaps between the Earth Federation and Neo Zeon through a literal show of resolve.
The best card games are the ones that are able to blend top-down and bottom-up design together. This walks the line between being a celebration of the franchise, as well as making a compelling game worth playing. We think it's fair to say Gundam Card Game has managed to achieve this goal thus far and will hopefully continue to do so. With that, here are our top 3 mechanics that we think are going to allow for these two types of design to work hand in hand.
I'm of the belief that discard is the most likely mechanic to be present in purple. For starters, the precedent is there. If you remember the examples of Eismon Scatter Mode and Jack Raid I gave in the first section of this video, you'll notice that there is a strong reliance on discarding cards, and for the cards in the trash to matter. Whether we are talking about needing specific cards in the trash to activate certain abilities, or physically counting the amount of cards that are present, trash synergy is design space that hasn't yet been explored in the Gundam card game thus far.
Additionally, this ties into a core theme of Iron-Blooded Orphans as part of the Gundam franchise, one of its core themes being sacrifices, noble or not, for power. Sure, in-game you're merely moving cards from your hand to the trash pile, but thematically, you're throwing away allies, possibilities, etc. for the win.
For our runner-up mechanic, self-resource denial is another inspiration that we can draw from another Bandai card game. Remember the example of Kaido earlier? This is more or less what they might implement through Purple in Gundam 2. By giving up some of your resources, or potentially EX resources, you can cash in cool bonus effects that will put you ahead in tempo. For example, imagine having a Barbados unit that makes you remove resources to gain the First Strike keyword for as long as it remains on the field. You are giving up one aspect of the game that helps you, in exchange for another thing that potentially helps you even more than what you gave up.
Additionally, this ties into a core theme of Iron-Blooded Orphans as part of the Gundam franchise, one of its core themes being sacrifices, noble or not, for power. Sure, in-game, you're merely moving your resources back to the resource deck, but thematically, you're throwing away allies, possibilities, etc. for the win.
Foam? Forgive me if I'm wrong here, but isn't this basically what you told us word for word in response to my discard paragraph?
I mean, yeah, but it still applies. Plus, it's really cool. Alright. Since my work was done for me on the previous take, I guess I'll take over explaining our last and probably most speculative mechanic. The idea that Purple might have cards that can persist through destruction. We haven't really set this up, but one thing currently missing in Gundam card game design space is cards that interact with destruction outside of the 2 cards that currently produce tokens when they are destroyed. We think that Purple might be the first instance of units that can, on some level, resist being destroyed, likely paying a high cost or penalty for doing so. Think, a suit that doesn't get trashed for losing the fight, but instead takes a -2/-2 to take another crack at it.
Additionally, this ties into a core theme of Iron-Blooded Orphans as part of the Gundam franchise.
Reala.
One of its core themes being sacrifices, noble or not, for power.
Reala.
Sure, in-game, you're not moving cards in the trash back to the field, but thematically, you're throwing away stats. Having not watched Iron-Blooded Orphans myself, but instead being gifted the extremely eloquent synopsis earlier in the video, I'm pretty sure Persist speaks thematically about resilience and perseverance.
With all that out of the way, we're excited to see where Bandai will end up with Purple. Will one of our mechanic predictions end up being included in the game, or will it be something else entirely? Only time will tell when we get reveals for Set 2.
But for now, I think it's about time we play some more games of beta. It'll only be our 342nd game or something. We haven't playtested this nearly enough. Alright, I will swing at one of your shields with Demi Trainer.
Alright, no blocks, so that goes through. Let's check. No burst. God, that's my fucking wing in the yard.
Thanks for that. I'll go ahead and play an Archangel. We'll pick up one of my shields.
That you fucking curve out every time. Ugh.
We're gonna pay the cost. We're gonna restand Demi Trainer and pass turn.
Oh my god, I'm screwed.